while wearing a suit. The suit is a plus. Yes, most definitely. We got to put that one on point right there. Let's show that one. So, Mr. Connoisseur himself, the blind buy bandit, the
In the
man.
flesh. In the flesh.
Yes, indeed. So what is your reasoning for having the amount of fragrances that you have?
That's a good one. So basically, I look at having fragrances as kind of a hobby. So back in the day, before COVID, my hobby was shooting guns. And just like
Whoa,
that,
wait,
I had,
pause, stop, hold on. did you just go Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator on me? Did you say shooting guns?
oh yeah. I have about, man, how many? I might have about 20. My dad has about 70.
Mm.
But yeah, so from ARs to handguns to yeah, just about, mainly I have a long range rifle. I got a Hauer 1500 that shoots 6.5 Creedmoor. I got 40 cals, 9 millimeters. Yeah, so that was what I did before. Then what happened at when COVID came, you couldn't go anywhere. And I was basically just I had just basically been buying designers, and right at COVID, I think right before COVID, I bought like one, but I really wasn't into it. But in 2020, when COVID hit on, Nate and I just went ham into buying fragrances. That's how the 2019 Creed event. It's like all of mine are going to be from like 2019 and on, when it talks about niche and stuff like that. And that's when I kind of just switched hobbies. I went from, because bullets basically went from being like $150 for 1,000 of them for 9 millimeter to like $400.
Mm.
And so it got really expensive. And at that point, I'm thinking something else to do. So that's how I kind of took fragrances to the next level.
Okay. We got in the building the man Cologne channel himself. What's going
Family.
on, fam? What's up with you?
You know, me and Connoisseur, me and Charm City always kicking it, but we had to come here and show you love always, But this is why I have a big collection. You know why? Because look, I just digged in all of here, right? I put it all on my bed
Man.
because I'm going to shoot a video right here. That's why I have a big collection. I want to smell good every time, and I don't feel like you have to be forced to one style. Like I saw a reviewer today say, I don't like this fragrance no more. Then to me, it just shows me that it's like you never really had a skill set, because why would you buy something and then turn around and say, oh, I don't like this no more? Then that means then what happened to when you were praising it?
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, 'cause a lot of people say, I'm not gonna buy a fragrance if I don't like it. I don't. I don't purchase no fragrance just to do a review on it. I get a sample of it and do a review on it. I'm not purchasing the whole bottle.
Exactly. So it's like, look, today I'm doing your show today. I'm doing a gangster show today, a bedroom gangster. I'm gonna give you a shout out. I'm doing a bedroom gangster, man, but for summer edition. But look, I got a coconut fragrance here. I have another one here. Now, why wouldn't I have both of these? If they smell different, they smell good. Why am I gonna say, hey, you know what? This one is not good because I have this one. I don't like doing that. I don't think that's genuine to people. Right? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, man, I love 100 Silent Ways. And then 3 weeks later say, I don't like this no more. for example, Suits, you said you like 100 silent ways, but X is better. So that's reasonable. You find the second fragrance better than the first. So you ain't lying. You spitting nothing but facts. But how does it sound that I say, oh, I regret buying 100 silent ways, but 3 years ago I was praising it?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, if you love it, you love it.
Yeah. Like, okay, you like something more. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the beauty of buying fragrances, right?
Right. Hey, the man, would you say that you are addicted to purchasing fragrances?
No,
Okay, what about
no.
you, connoisseur? Would you say you're addicted to purchasing fragrances?
Uh,
Uh-oh.
I might be a little bit in denial, but what I can say is that when it depends on how you define addicted. So I do like buying fragrances, but when I look at addiction, I look at addiction being the state of when you cannot stop doing something even to your detriment. So that's the big thing about me. Now, I have a job that I make enough money that I can buy the fragrances that I want. I'm not missing any bills. You know, I'm not letting the lights go out because I'm buying fragrances, and I'm not getting my car repossessed because I'm buying fragrances. I'm not getting evicted because I'm buying fragrances. So in that way, I say no, I'm not addicted. But when I joke about it and say I'm addicted because I like the art of buying fragrances. I like, and I mean, I bought fragrances before I started a channel. So I didn't just buy fragrances because of a channel, but the fragrances that I buy, I display on the channel. So it depends on how you define addiction. I don't, in that definition, I would say no.
Okay. I'm glad you brought up about the word channel, because a lot, you know what, I can't even say a lot, but I know some reviewers are purchasing fragrances just to start a channel, not realizing the requirements of even getting started. You know,
Right.
of the number of views you have, the number of subscriptions you have to have, and everything before you can even get paid. Now, I'm not saying it's not a lucrative investment to dive into, but it takes time to get to that point. So, do you believe that some reviewers, like the new ones that are coming out, are putting themselves in a huge debt just to get to that point?
Well, maybe some people. So and it's funny, I was looking and I was talking to you, texting you back and forth when I saw that you put this up. I watched someone called Simone and I watched someone called Scent Bay just this morning. And they were talking about how they were in debt buying fragrances and they felt like they had to buy fragrances and that they amassed like $30,000 worth of fragrances in 1 year. And that at least Scent Bay, the last person I saw, she was basically saying that she was in debt, that when her check came, her check was going to fragrances that she already had. And she was saying that she had problems and she was addicted. But at the same time, she said, I got 10 fragrances in the mail coming to me right now. So to me, now that's an addiction. If you were buying fragrances and you can't take care of your normal bills, you're not taking care of what's home, then that's a problem. The thing I find funny is that someone who is a fragrance reviewer is talking about addiction. That's like saying if you got an alcohol problem, call this number, and when you call a number, they say, Joe's Pub, can I help you?
Yeah, that's true. Neo stated a question for the panel: how many fragrances would you say is too many, and how do you determine that? What's your take on that, Demand?
Here's how I look at. Let's piggyback off what Connoisseur was saying. You know, I feel like when I built this collection, it's years. Like, you know, my Parfum de Marly's, I had them there for like 6 years. Like I've had fragrances here since 2011, you know? So I've been collecting. This didn't just come up yesterday, you know? And I just feel like you should be able to buy what you want. You know, it's not about an addiction. It's not about what's too many. It's just what can you buy? What do you want? Right? If you can afford it and you can buy it, then buy it. You know, I don't waste my money chasing down girls. I have a girl, so this is my little recreational fun. You know, like this is just entertainment and fun for me. I never looked at this like, oh man, I'm gonna make money off of YouTube because of this. I look at this as, you know what? I invested something for me. If I can get some free bottles because I have a good channel, yo, God bless. That's all I need. I don't need, this to pay my bills. This is not what I do to pay bills. You know, this is entertainment and then meeting good people like yourselves and enjoying and sharing with the world. And like I said, all I really want out of this whole thing is, do business with companies, give people good prices, and of course, get some free bottles because I don't need no more bottles. Let me see if I can show you, man. I can't show you. I think this light won't work, but I got like 13, 14 Parfum de Marley's right here. I got like 500 fragrances. What do I need? I don't even need to buy a fragrance to make a review.
Okay, so would you say that is too many for an average person?
Yes, because they're going to want to build it in one day. This has been years. I got years building my collection, and I've been collecting fragrances, purchasing since I was 9 years old. My mother would give me the money. I would walk to the mall. I was buying Obsession for Men, Eternity, Cool Water. I didn't buy Fahrenheit because it was just not for me, man. I was too young. But my parents gave me money to go buy fragrances when I was young. I was stealing my dad's Polo fragrance. It's all about you. For me, when I was 17, my mother bought me like 30 fragrances for my birthday in one shot.
Oh, wow.
I've been having fragrances, and I'm not here to brag. This is not bragging. It's something that I've been in love with. So it's not for everybody to buy this many. And at the same token, if we're reviewers, we shouldn't have to buy everything either because we don't need everything. I'm sure all of us are going to take this to the grave.
Yeah.
Well, not Suits, because Suits.
Not Suits, yeah, not Suits. Yeah.
He will Conan a fragrance.
Conan, every fragrance he got, and say to himself, "I'll buy another one."
Yeah.
I'll just buy another one.
So the way I see it, again, just like being an addict is subjective, I think having too many is subjective as well. It depends on what you are getting fragrances for. So a lot of times we're doing top 10s and we have top 10 compliment, top 10. If you are the average person, I would basically say 10 would probably be a good number. And you could rotate out and in based on when you use up a fragrance that you don't necessarily need a lot of fragrances. Now, of course, if you are a reviewer, you're not going to be able to get away with just 10 fragrances, especially you showing the same 10 fragrances. Mm-hmm. However, reviewing has changed a little bit. When I first started watching reviewers, it was basically thought of as not being in the game professionally if you didn't have the full bottle. Everybody wanted to see full bottle presentation. Now that's kind of gone out. I think maybe COVID, maybe the price of fragrances has shot up to so much that people have already basically accepted not everybody's going to show a full bottle, even reviewers. But as far as being a fragrance reviewer, then that's kind of tricky, and it depends on what you're doing and what you're trying to do with your channel. So if your channel is about getting new fragrances, then you're going to be constantly adding to your collection.
True.
So what's your answer on that, Suits?
Me,
you're a bedroom gangster.
Yeah, I mean, okay. What started for me was, like I say, when my first niche fragrance that I smelled was Royal Oud, and I told you the story how that went. I went to Neiman's, asked the lady, I told the lady, I went right up to her. I said, I'm looking for a fragrance called Niche. She looked at me. I'm looking at her. I'm waiting on her to show me what fragrance was called Niche. And she introduced me to Royal Oud, and it went from there. And at that point, I think I probably bought maybe 6 Creed fragrances at that one. After I bought Royal Oud and wore it, that was my first niche fragrance. I had it, and I wore that for a while, and I saw how the attention changed, how my attitude changed, my confidence level was boosted just from that one niche fragrance, and the responses from a different level of women that was coming to me, and I was like, oh my goodness! And right up, I went and bought 6 Creed fragrances right from there. And I was like, oh my goodness! So I wouldn't say if that was a addiction or if it was more so seeking something from an outside source.
Okay,
So
so
that's
what
what got
started
me.
you out? What started you out was basically the feeling that you got when you wore the fragrances.
Mm-hmm.
So what took
Yeah.
you from Royal Oud #1 to 501?
Kind of sort of makes me laugh.
yeah, I see how he
Hey,
snuck that in there.
I could be a news reporter. I could be a news reporter. I can bring it.
Yo, it's hilarious.
So you need to be asking, demand that too. But what took me to it, for the love of fragrances, man. Because I've never really, I had designers, but I don't know, niche just took me to a whole different place, and I just the body of it. Just the body of that fragrance, of a niche fragrance. So like I told you, I started out with Creed, and then when then my next one that I went to was Parfums de Marly, and then I got introduced to that, and then I got introduced to the next house, which was Bond No. 9, and then Xerjoff. When I got introduced to those top houses, it was no stopping. I was bagging them like crazy.
I can agree with that. One thing I can say, I started out with designer, like the Calvin Klein obsession and all of those. When I got into niche, it opened up a whole new game. And that's when I started taking classes on accords and putting together notes and stuff like that, because it gave me into an obsession of wanting to learn more and more about the fragrance game.
Yeah, me too. I started reading books like my perfumer at Neiman's. She had to go to college. She used to do all this stuff. And when she left Neiman's to relocate, she gave me all her books on note breakdown, scent trails. I mean, everything, man. I was reading them books like crazy. And once I read it, that's when my nose became educated, and I was learning how to search for different scents in the room. It's a whole different world when you really put your mind into it. Not when I put it, this is how I look at it. If you're going to do it and do reviews, and you're trying to seek some compensation for it, then really give an honest effort and dive into it and know what it is that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Learn the craft.
Absolutely.
Learn the craft. Just don't talk bull crap just because, like, for instance, me, I have a lot of fragrances, right? I can talk and say whatever. As I'm showing the full bottle, that's going to already get your attention. But if I'm showing the full bottle, let me at least know what it is that I'm talking about. Okay. Now I can do that for niche. For designers, I'm not too hip with that, because I don't have many designer fragrances. I don't have many clones. Like when y'all was talking about the house yesterday, I was listening because I was trying to learn more about it. I just don't want to purchase it and don't know anything about it.
Right.
So that's how I am.
I'm gonna say this. What's up, Tazo? Also, what I'm gonna say is, when I was buying designer, there was no need for niche, because designers were doing niche quality in the designer realm. It wasn't, it wasn't like I was buying designer fragrances and they didn't have awesome fragrances. This is like in the 90s, 93, 94. Like I smell so many stuff from back then that I smell today. I'm like, it's kind of similar sometimes, so it's just today we're living in an era where I feel like what designer houses have done was they said, okay, these style of fragrances don't make us that much money. Only the mass appealing fragrances make us money. And you see, they always shooting for the mass appealing fragrances. Whatever is a little daring, if it don't sell right away, they cut it off. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm gonna pull it out right here. This Gucci fragrance, right? The Gucci Pro Homme. This one. This fragrance is niche quality, niche level, but it don't make sales. So what happens? They cut it off. It makes sales in the niche world, and they're happy with these type of sales. But in the designer realm, if you look at what Dior and what Chanel sell, like Chanel Blue and Dior Sauvage sell, they cripple every niche brand. Just Blue and just Sauvage cripple every niche brand in sales per year.
So when it comes to the amount of fragrances, does price matter, or do you feel as though, as far as a reviewer, you have to have that fragrance because you want to be the first one to give a review on it? If that's what you want and you want your channel to grow a certain way, I'm sure, spending the money, buying the fragrance that you need, it's going to get you the views. For me, it's just difficult because I have so many fragrances that I'm really after things that I like. Like, look, I bought this Javoy, Remember Me, and no lie, today I hugged a girl. Oh my God, you smell so good. What is that? What are you wearing? I like buying everything. I'm not into the hype. I really don't care, because once I think your nose develops correctly, having a large collection is easy. It's when you lack the skill to break down the fragrance, then you should not have a large. You shouldn't be just buying everything you see, because you're going to get disappointed.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you buy a Raja that costs $1,000, it's not going to smell like Dior Sauvage.
And then, as far as a Raja is concerned, most people don't know how to accept that style of fragrance. Especially if you just coming from designer and going straight to Raja, that's too heavy. It's too heavy.
It's definitely a process, but what I can say, price does matter to a certain degree. But there are some fragrances that basically smell out of their price range, where they smell better than what you paid for them, but price does matter to a certain degree. And when you get into some of those fragrances, it's the materials and the raw materials that they put into it that's going to determine what that price costs. And so if you are a connoisseur that likes fragrances, you're going to end up paying for higher and higher cost fragrances if you want to develop more and more. So I can tell you, just Narcissi. To me, Narcissi is hands down the best rose fragrance I've ever smelled. But they put a high cost in that because rose is one of the most expensive notes to put in a fragrance.
Especially that Taif rose.
Right. So they use Taif rose, Damascus rose, they use May rose. They use 5 different roses, but they also use castoreum, civet, oud. They use a lot of expensive materials, and you just can't expect for someone to have those expensive materials and they charge you $100. Yes. It's just not going to happen.
And civet, that civet alone, just to extract that from the animal, man, is like mad expensive. Because the house zoologists, the house zoologists, they don't use civet. They have a synthetic brand because of the where they getting that note from. So they make a synthetic civet note. It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Nichane has one that I was looking for. I pulled a bunch of stuff out. They have a fragrance that has civet. They they have the actual like civet note, and then they have synthetic civet. You know, and
I'm sorry. Hey, Jason, jump on, Jason. I'd love to hear your take on this one. I would love to hear your take on this one. But go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
no. So, like I was saying, Nichane has a civet in it, and a lot of people, when they smell that fragrance, they don't like it. You know, it's called African Eau Flank or Flank.
Oliphant.
So
Oliphant,
yeah,
African Oliphant. Mhm.
yeah. So when they smell that, they don't like that. So how is a person gonna buy $1,000 fragrance if they can't even like a fragrance that costs $200? That's dangerous.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So it's just interesting, you know, how you have to develop your nose, your skill set. You just can't buy everything, and you got to take your time. You just can't automatically buy 1,000 fragrances.
Yeah. And as far as like ouds are concerned, some houses aren't using, authentic ouds. They're going to they're generating synthetic ouds, and over time, that's going, you spray when you first open, over time, that synthetic that's in there is going to die out, and the fragrance just completely changes, making a bad name for the name of that fragrance.
Yeah, I agree.
Understood, Jason. Hey, y'all enjoy y'all meal. Be safe out there. Yeah, it's something. So, next question. Let me ask y'all this. You have a lot of fragrances, right?
Not enough. I got one less than I need.
Oh, see. I go to answer
the same way. I'm thinking of that Zing guy. I'm missing that Zing guy, man. I'm like, I need that fragrance.
Hey, you answered before I was going to ask you, do you feel you need more?
I always need more. Well, see, okay, here's the thing. Like I said on the last live, in 1990, 193 new fragrances came out. Last year, it was 3,123. That is, it's different. It's like, even nowadays, when I do my scent of the day and everything like that, people will put scents of the day that and houses that I've never even heard of. And then you start researching the house and you're seeing, and there's a lot of things that smell similar to certain things, but then you get that hidden gem. Not talking about hidden gems, no Diddy, but you get that hidden gem fragrance. And it is something that's different, that you haven't smelled before, and that is just something that you got to put in your collection. And especially if we're talking about fragrances, you always have to get another one, and because new fragrances are coming out, and people aren't going to just over and over again want to hear about old fragrances that they've heard.
Right. I mean, that's true. That's true. If you are a reviewer, I'm not going to say it's a must, but it would be standard to keep up with, current events. I would say so.
Devontae said he put in 350 fragrances
in a year. Yeah, man, that you're got a record deal.
Yeah, you're averaging like 30 fragrances a month.
I wanted to say something.
That's rough.
I wish Jason would have joined the live so we could eventually, work out our minute differences. Because I don't want to be, I want all of us to have nothing but love and consideration for one another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, because you and Nosy, I mean, when we all got together yesterday, it was beautiful, it was peaceful, it was informational. Is that a word? But it was very informative. There we go. Straighten that up. All right, good. And it was really good, man. The whole live that we had on Connoisseur's channel when Nosy jumped on it, that was nice, and that was good.
I think in this world, man, of course there's going to be differences and like people sometimes get in their feelings on both sides, but it's something that we shouldn't stick to. It's something that we as people should just move forward, just as as a human being, as love for each other. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah,
just wanted to put that out there.
yeah.
I definitely appreciate it. Well, you know, I've been behind the scenes trying to
Yeah,
work
you have.
on
You
all
have.
that.
You've been quarterbacking it real well. Yeah. Because I mean,
But
I even when that first went down, I was, reaching back and forth to the man, and the man was hot, which is understandable, because everybody was coming at him, was coming at him, was coming at him. And once, the smoke settled and died down, we all came together. And then, with your work behind the scenes, it turned into we are where we are now.
Yeah, I had to apologize to Suits, and I always tell Fragrance Connoisseur that the way he treats me, the way Charm City treats me on a personal level, is something that helps me see perspective correctly. You know, because he talks to me a certain way, and he understands what I'm going through sometimes. So you got to respect. I don't know what. Yeah, basically, I better.
no,
That's
Robert
right.
Platinum's saying something crazy. That's all.
Hey, yesterday, wasn't he the one that said he want to make a tobacco scent that smell like Newport 100?
Yeah, Newport menthol 100s. Yeah,
Almost
Definitely.
died.
That's funny. That's
I
funny.
can tell you definitely one with Devontae. I would be curious to see how he went from 350 back down to 35.
35. Yeah, Devontae, answer that. How did you
Yeah,
go? You gave away over 300 fragrances. I
he was
mean,
averaging 10 a week.
week. Yeah.
That's
Now, was it niche or was it like
now
from
he's talking about
TJ
rack
Maxx?
stores. He went in the rack stores.
Oh, the rack. Okay, okay. Okay, rack stores every day. Okay, I was afraid Max. Okay.
But
But
Max Bowman could be niche.
you know
Okay.
what I would say though is that when I see when he say he spends so much money on these rack stores, I think fragrance reviewers should just, I understand it's their job to put out content, but for me, I just like to put out content. Doesn't mean you have to buy what I'm putting out there. This is just what I like to do. You don't have to buy what I put out there.
All right,
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Let me ask you guys this. Okay, say right now, all right, forget that you have a lot of fragrances.
Okay.
Say that you only have maybe five fragrances to your name, right?
Mhm.
You have a few extra dollars, but not a lot. You're trying to get your channel up and going. Would you feel compelled that you would need more fragrances because of the reviewers that are doing fragrance reviews now?
I wouldn't even want to put up a channel with five fragrances.
That's what I'm saying. So, would you feel you would need to purchase more? Would that push you to purchase more, regardless of what your finances are?
But here's the thing. So what sold the rest? Okay. So here's the main thing that I would say. I did not buy fragrances to make a channel. It was my love of fragrances and already having fragrances in my collection that caused me to want to make a channel. It was my love for the sport or the art of fragrances that wanted me to make a channel. Because if you're buying just to make a channel and you don't have that love, then you're gonna take it from the wrong perspective. It's just like there's so much back end that you got to do for wanting to make a channel. And there are some people that have a lot of fragrances that don't make a channel. And it doesn't necessarily mean that's what you have to do. But it was basically after I started amassing fragrances, it was like my son, Nate, he was like, we should start a channel. And so it was out of my love for fragrances that I started a channel. But it wasn't like when I've had 5 fragrances, I was saying, once I hit 100, I'm starting my channel. I was already over 100 before I even started the channel. And then I just kept going.
Right. Because so for your son, his purpose of purchasing fragrances was to start a channel.
No.
Okay.
It was once we, like I said, he started, I think his first niche fragrance was a Ventus or Angel Share. So that was like one of his first. I think Aventus was his first. Angel Share was like his second. And once that got started, like when I smelled Angel Share when he first bought it, like 2020, like right before COVID started, I bought that like instantly. But once that started and we started amassing more and more fragrances, 3 years later, I'm sitting on I don't know how many fragrances because I stopped counting. And that's when he said we should start a channel. But it wasn't until, I mean, back in that time, I was a fan. I was on watching everybody's channel. And it wasn't until I got to the point where he was asking, hey, you know, we have this love for fragrances. We're doing this. Why not start a channel?
Hey, everybody say hello to Teresa. That's my fragrance buddy right there.
Hey.
Teresa, you can jump on if you want. I'm going to put the link back up here.
Hey,
Yeah,
to the last guy, DHI. Yeah, my bad, fragrance.
No, I was only saying I saw Teresa in the comments of Scent Bay, and that she had watched the same video I watched earlier. Go ahead, man.
Well, you know what made me buy all these fragrances, which is a kind of a weird thing. I always liked fragrances. I always had a good collection, maybe 30 bottles, nothing out of this world. I never felt like I needed more than that, right? But my uncle passed away, and then that drove me to do this because I guess I didn't realize what I was doing till I was like already like 200-300 fragrances. I said, damn, why do I have so many fragrances? But it was because my uncle passed away, and that's the way I guess I drowned into my pain, you know? But I always enjoyed fragrances. I always had a good amount. But I think for me, it just took that, and then I just took my love from like, you know, like the disappointment of my uncle passing away, how much I loved him and cared about him. And I just kept nosy, and I just kept buying fragrances. You know, that's how I drowned myself out of the situation, you know?
Yeah. Hey, Nosy, go ahead and jump on, Nosy. So would it be safe to say or fair to say that if someone wants to start a channel, well, let me say, because I don't want to offend no one. If you have a nice amount, we're gonna say a nice amount of fragrances, is it wrong to somewhat brag, so to speak?
Yeah, I don't brag about nothing. Yeah.
Right. Because this is the thing. When I first started watching reviews, when I first got into niche, that's when I started watching reviews because I wanted to learn more about it. I wasn't even thinking about doing a channel. I was just thinking about, I don't want to waste my money on a fragrance, you know, so I will watch a review to get background on it before I go to the store and sample it or purchase it, whatever, because I didn't want to waste my time. So if someone has a lot of fragrances and they just bragging about it, whatever, would you continue to watch that channel?
No.
I think that comes from a different spot. If you're bragging about the fragrances that you have, a lot of the reviewers that or influencers, if you want to talk about how many subscribers they have and what they do, they're not paying for those fragrances. And so bragging about you doing that, what's the point? That to me, that's kind of a turnoff. And just because I say I consider myself blessed to be able to buy the fragrances that I want, that doesn't make me any better than somebody else. It's just something that I do, and sometimes it may be that that's my hobby. I mean, I don't spend my money on other things, so it's not as much of a problem. So yeah, if somebody's bragging about that they have 1,000 and it looks like that they're bragging about their fragrance collection, to me that seems like that would be a turnoff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know the one guy that I do respect is the perfume guy. I respect him because
I like him.
Yeah,
I like him.
I respect him.
And I would
You
think
know what?
he has the most.
he has the most.
Yeah. And but you don't see none of them.
No,
Yeah, he don't brag.
doesn't brag.
You know?
Yeah, he don't brag. You
And I
know,
think he's the
actually,
most knowledgeable. Mm.
I mean, I definitely would consider him a very knowledgeable reviewer. You know, what I like about him is I seen him tell people, because people will leave in his comments, "Oh, you don't get that many views," and I seen him get on this channel and curse that person out. Like, I don't do this
Really?
for views. Yeah, he's like, I don't do this for views. I don't give a damn about nothing. I do what I want on my channel. That's why I respect him, because, you know, he don't go up there and lie. You know, and he
Wow.
gets free stuff, and
I
he
never
don't
seen
care.
I never
Yeah,
seen
I've been.
him out of character.
Yeah, he gets out of character. If you get on his on his messages and you start saying some like disrespectful stuff, believe me, that next video he's coming for you.
Mm.
He's coming for you.
Robert Platinum had a good question about, or a good statement: purchasing your own fragrances gives you a stake in those fragrances. I definitely believe that it does. What I can say is that as you get bigger and bigger, free fragrances are probably going to come to you, but it is a different feeling when you put your own coin down to get a fragrance, and you're not going to just buy fragrances just for the sake of buying it. The only ones I can say, I have bought some clones just for video content, but clones are so less expensive than, say, a regular fragrance. I bought, you can buy a clone for $20, $40. And so if that was some of those, I buy specifically just for content. But for the most part, I have bought all of my fragrances. In fact, I say for the most part, I have not been gifted any fragrances as of yet. Now, I would like to say that my honesty and integrity, even if I was gifted a fragrance, would help me give an honest opinion. And I definitely would let everyone know if I was gifted a fragrance that it was a gifted fragrance. But I would hope that just in the scheme of things, and I know Demand and I have talked about it several times, that even if you get gifted a fragrance, your integrity is on the line. And if you start saying that a fragrance is good and it really isn't, or if you start hyping up a fragrance just because you're making money off of it, then sooner or later, I think that's going to catch up with you.
Yeah. You know, I'll be honest. I think we all spent money, our own money, on fragrances. I don't. If I'm doing reviews and I invested in myself and I'm having fun with my channel, I would say this: if I have to review every new fragrance, then yeah, I want to get them for free, because I don't have to buy anything new. I don't think it's healthy that I have to spend so much money just to please people on the internet. You know, I want to give my honest opinion. I want to tell you how it smells like, but I don't want to buy stuff because I'm forced to. I want to buy what I like as my collection, you know? So if I can build myself to the status where I can just get fragrances and give out content, that's great, you know? But I don't think it's healthy for anybody to chase every fragrance and buy everything when it's not something you love. You know?
That's a good point. So let me ask you guys this. Say one of your you get a comment, right? And one of your viewers are asking you to give a review on, say, a new fragrance that just came out, and it's like $4.50, and they're not giving no samples. Would you go buy that fragrance just to do a review to please that just to please, or I'm not say please, but just to get the proper information to? Okay, so you bought that for one of your reviewers?
I can't say just because one of my subscribers asked me, but
Subscribers, that's
one
right.
of one of my subscribers, Fresh Prince of the Trenches, and he basically said on the scent of the day, he picked his scent of the day was Attraction Fatale, and he said it was really good. And we talk probably every day on scent of the day. He usually puts it on The man gets on every day, and it's a couple people that get on every day. And he wore it 2 or 3 times as a scent of the day. And so I told him, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out. And basically that was because we vibed and he liked it and he kept hyping it. And so I wanted to see what it was about, to check it out for myself. So if I have the money and I didn't buy it immediately, like I said, he wore it like 2 or 3 times. But as I worked it into my monthly budget and I have a priority list of what I'm buying each month. And I mean, so many fragrances, so little time. But as I got to it, I bought it so that I could check it out and just the vibe with the subscribers. Because I mean, in all actuality, our subscribers are what brought us here. And so I try to do that. And even I see Red Spence, he talked about Day 3. I bought the Day 3 Discovery set. And it was basically, I tried to it's a community. So there are some things that I buy specifically because subscribers have talked about it.
Now, look, I'm not saying I wouldn't buy. I'm just saying I'm not going to just buy something if it's not going to generate, like if I'm going to generate money and it's like it was a new release, or if I like it. But for me to buy something, I mean, we're all different. There's no right or wrong answer, you know. If you want to buy something because you want, hey, you know, I support everybody on this panel. You do what you want, it's your money, you know. But me, I just got, if I'm going to buy something, I have to like it as well. That's all, you know. Oh, hey, listen, if my channel is making me money and I can buy it, then I'll buy it. I don't care. You know, if I'm making money and I have extra money to buy it and make a review, I'll do it. But for me to buy something I don't like to review, I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah, well, I definitely hoped I liked it.
Yeah. All right, next question. Let me ask you guys this. When you
That's smart right there. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
No, it's cool. When you first started purchasing fragrances, was it because of girls or women, so to speak, or was it because you like the way you smell yourself?
Oh, you're talking about back in the day, because
yeah.
So hopefully,
well, you still like the attention.
I love the attention from my wife. I know she's watching.
Yeah. Good answer.
I can say everybody likes attention. So is it just about the attention? What I can say is, for the most part, in the beginning, when I was younger, say when I was in my teens and stuff like that, Polo, when it came out, and when I first bought Bijan and those type of things, I had Fahrenheit. Those I probably bought because of the thought of attention when I was younger. So it was definitely the attention that I was getting. I think more as I grew older and more experienced, then it became more about what I liked and what I wanted to smell. Because I mean, you go for it. If you're wearing a fragrance, you think about how many times you are really by yourself. Like if I'm working in the office, when I'm in the office, I'm no diddy smelling myself. But you know, and it's only certain times that other people will smell you. Like when you go into a meeting or when you're walking down the hallway or things like that. There's only certain times, going to lunch. But for the most part, if you are wearing something that you don't necessarily vibe with just because of attention for other people, that isn't the case. So I can say, as I became more experienced and more mature, then it was more about what I liked, and hopefully what I liked corresponded with what other people liked, the way I smelled as well.
I think, of course, when I was young, right, it was teenager. Yeah, you know, of course, we want to smell good for girls, and it was great attention. But I think as I got older, obviously I realized if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't look good, if you're not in tip top shape, you know, how do you expect girls to be chasing you? Fragrances help, but they don't solve the problem, you know? It's not gonna work. Like when you take your clothes off, the fragrance don't make you have a six pack. The fragrance, you know, it doesn't make you bigger. So
Sorry about that.
no, I'm looking. I
Aramis.
want to say
Aramis was my dad's favorite. Aramis, that's the one, the fragrance that I was telling you that would announce him. It would go before him because he would spray it so much. Aramis was it. Sorry about that. I just saw that in the chat. I apologize.
Hey man, it's all we all brothers. It's all good. You gotta, you know, sometimes speak out speaks. But I think now as I got older, you know, like for example, me, I have a young girlfriend. So she likes the fact that I smell good 10 million different ways. Like all she tells me is, I love sniffing your neck. I love sniffing your neck. You know, and it's because I could smell good 1,000 ways. And I think once you realize that, then you don't mind buying a lot. Or like, you know, I bought 2 fragrances that my girl can wear, you know, when she comes down. She could wear them. I could wear them. She could wear them, you know? So it all works out for me, you know? It's, for me, it's just about, okay, it's like this, right? It's like buying clothes. We have like 15,000 shirts, pants. So colognes is no different. You know, it's like I said, for me, it's about, I want to please the person I'm with. So if I'm with my girl, I want her to know that I always smell good. It's going to be hard to smell better than me. I'm not saying you can't smell as good as me, you know, when you have a large collection, but it's hard to smell better than me because I have a large collection, just like you guys do. I'm sure your wife and your wife's suits, they love you because they're like, damn, my man always smells good. You know, then they're not worried about the next man because most men smell horrible. You be around some guys, they smell like shit. You know? So I think it's an edge for us who buy fragrances, and I think we're just trying to give game to other guys to just do the same. You know, I don't promote having 15 different girlfriends if that's what you want to do, but I'm not doing that. Maybe when I was 6, you know, when I was 20, I was doing that, but not now.
So with having a lot of fragrances, would you consider yourself okay, well let's put it this way. With having a lot of fragrances, right?
Okay.
And you're able to give, okay, hold on a second. Coming to the stage is my fragrance buddy, the one and only Mr. Ressa. First time.
Hey.
Hello.
What's good? Well, we can get a woman's perspective on here. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
And she, one thing I tell you about it, she's definitely not spending no money on no fragrance before her bills. I tell you that. She will tell you that in a minute.
You got to be that way, and that's when you get to addictive. If you are missing light bills to smell good, you got issues right there.
It's a problem. It's a problem. Yeah.
And I say that to people all the time. You know what I mean? You have to set a budget.
Right.
You know, I say I have a wish list. Okay. I write down the perfumes that I want. I already have the price written down. And I'm not going to always go where, you know, you're buying it from the actual company. Because, see, I'm all about saving money.
Absolutely.
Right? So when I see people dropping $500 on one fragrance, I was like, ooh.
Taking shots.
you must go ooh every time you see a Suits video. You're like, ooh.
She taking shots.
I do. And I say it to him too, like, dude, you know you could have got that cheaper, right?
She do.
Yes, I do. I'm like, everybody, you ain't have to get in that. You know?
Hey, that's my girl right there, man. I'm telling you, that's my girl, man. I remember
punches.
when I had no subscribers, and she had no man. And we both linked up and we said, look, I'm gonna support your channel, you support my channel, and we just kept going ever since, man. Every time she put out a video, I'm on it.
Mhm.
Every single time. And
Yeah.
I see you got my lipstick on. Always teasing about her red lipstick.
Yeah, but yeah, I there are some people when being in this fragrance game, they feel like they have to buy the fragrance from a reputable person or company. I feel like I'm getting the same fragrance, but I'm giving you half the cost. Okay.
Okay, so here's a question, and just jumping in. If you say when you say reputable, are you talking about just like a Neiman Marcus or something like that? Because
Right.
the
Right.
discounters are like, I use Fragrance Buy and stuff like. Do you consider Fragrance Buy a reputable company,
Yes.
or
Yes.
you're getting it from somewhere else?
Yes. Now, my buddy here, he's a Neiman Marcus, Saks, I be looking at him sideways like you can get that same unless it just came out. You got to give it time to get to the market. Okay.
Yeah.
Me, no, I'll wait it out because I don't need it that bad. Like I was watching that young lady's video today, and she's just pulling stuff out of a box, and I'm leaning forward like,
That was crazy.
what are you doing? You don't need all of that.
Is this the lady that say that her, she behind on her bills or something?
Yeah, she said she was behind on her bills and that she bought. So she said she came to Germany with 0 fragrances, and she had a whole like cabinet full of fragrances. And she said she bought all of those in 1 year. But it wasn't rack store fragrances. She was Jerjoff and stuff like that. So she said that basically she could have bought 2 cars with the fragrances she had.
Wow.
Man, that's addictive.
So was she purchasing them to start a YouTube channel, or what was her?
She has a YouTube channel,
Okay.
and she's a fragrance person, I guess, in like a Neiman Marcus or something like that. She said she's a fragrance. I forget exactly what she said, but yeah, she. Go ahead. You may know better, Teresa.
Well, no, you had it, but even when she said that, and then when she pulled up that other bag, she said, "Oh, wait a minute." I'm like, "What is she doing?" When she reached down and pulled that bag up and says, "And I have 6 more inside the bag," I leaned forward like, I said, "You an idiot."
Wow.
And she said she had 10 in the mail.
Right, on the way.
Remember when I asked y'all earlier about fragrance reviewers bragging? So do you feel as though that's what she was doing? Bragging about her fragrances?
I don't think she was bragging.
I don't think. Yeah.
She got a problem. Yeah, she got a problem.
Yeah. She had
so she's truly addicted.
Yes.
But
hey, girl, I'm gonna tell you something, girl. Your boy Suitin Sense has all his fragrances shook. They're like this. I'm next. I'm about to get executed. Jesus Christ, yo, can I live? They're all shaking up there. All 500 are doing like this. They're like, yo, what the hell's going on?
Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
And I just be shaking my head at them. Like, okay, do you? My thing is this here. Long as you can afford to spend that money and it's not messing with your bills and your livelihood, spend it up.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Spend it up. Because brother man be like this. Boom. And y'all, I can see him. He got it all down the arm. He, you know what I mean? I can see him. He doing the helicopter.
I be seeing him put a bottle. I'm like, that bottle's dead. That one's halfway gone. That one's about to get executed. That's what I keep saying.
I be looking at him like, dude, you be killing them. I mean, that big bottle.
That's good though.
Yeah. But I be messing with him because, like I said, that big bottle of Baccarat Rouge 540. I looked at him. I said, "Ooh,
yeah, I Conan that bottle. I'm telling you. I did. I Conan that bottle. Shoot.
But I feel when you actually look at, and I commented on that young lady's video. Because I said to her, I said, when I was moving my fall and winter to bring the summer and spring and summer up, I sat on my floor and I just looked around like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much, you know. And that was last year.
Mm.
And I have dramatically slowed down on my buying. I really
Yeah.
have. Because, and I don't like to blind buy anymore because I have gotten fragrances. I'll be like, oh, what the hell? Like the notes is not matching up. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it needs to sit and macerate for a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I stopped blind buying. I said, it's
That's
just,
why. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I do think she really has a problem, but I don't know. And maybe it will be therapeutic for some people to see that she has a problem, but obviously she has to come to the point where you have to be out of the denial stage. And I don't know if making a video saying you have 10 bottles in the mail, you haven't got to the point where, like an alcoholic says, I'm an alcoholic and I have a problem. And in order for me,
I think what
how
happened,
can you still be a fragrance reviewer and you're in the fragrance game
right?
because you
I,
have to
I
have fragrances.
I took that a little bit differently. After
Okay.
she watched that video of the girl that she showed us on her phone, after she watched that video is when she had her kumbaya moment. So it
Okay,
was
so you
already too late.
think Simone was the
Right.
one that kind of opened her eyes
Yeah.
and that she
So
she
I think,
said, I just need to do a
yeah,
video right now.
yes. And I think
Okay.
it was already too late. She had already spent that money, and that's what made her make that video.
Well, I definitely pray for her. I just and I'm glad you brought it up in that light because
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of hard again to be a fragrance reviewer and then have a fragrance addiction because
Right.
yeah.
You
I,
know, every time I'm gonna buy a bottle, I say, do I really need this bottle? Do I want this bottle? Is this house what I'm looking for? You know, like I could have bought Zingy, but I said, you know what? I want some more Javois in my collection. So I bought 2 Javois,
Mhm.
and I already have some Javois. I always, you know, I try to make sense of it. You know, it's my birthday, so I said I'm gonna treat myself. But really, you know, if you don't, you shouldn't have to chase views. You shouldn't have to come up here and I gotta buy this bottle to compete with the big channels because they get all that stuff for free, like Connoisseur was saying.
I said
They're
that
not
too.
paying for, yeah, they're
Yeah.
not paying for those bottles. They get that stuff free.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a lot of
Hey,
women I watch that the fragrance people who they're dealing with will send in the whole entire line. And then
mm.
they'll get on there, and be like, oh, well, I have such and such. A girl, woo, they're doing all this here. Oh, it smells so good. Let me just spray it a little bit. And you can barely see them spritzing it. You understand what I'm saying? And they'll do one of these, and you barely see the mist coming out. So I'm looking at them like, I know that you're getting the kickback. You know what I mean? So if you're having, we'll say, a 30% off sale, okay? And the more you sell for these people, the more stuff they're going to send you because they know that you have a following and that these people,
Everybody, I have to be out. So have a great live
you,
and we'll catch up, everybody. One love, one love.
All
Yes,
right?
right, good
sir,
man.
man.
All right.
But yeah, so when you see these people, and that's what happens to a lot of folks. I'm telling you right now, this is what happens to
Mhm.
people because they will see that their favorite fragrance reviewer has all these stuff, and then she's saying that it's okay, so you're gonna go ahead and buy it. No,
Yeah. Hey, real quick, everybody. Subscribe to go check out Come Unbox with Teresa. That's her channel. Check that out. Subscribe to her, support her. She give you good information. I'm telling you, if you got a young lady or if young ladies are watching, you need to check that out. She got some deals on there. I'm telling you, she do her research and she know her business.
thank you.
Always fragrance buddy.
Yeah, but yeah, there's like, I hate to call them clone houses, but there are some inspired houses. I'll say it like that. That I'd be shocked, because I want to try a little bit of everything. Okay. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. At the top, y'all, I'm doing the share streaming, so you can hit the thing and everybody reap the benefits. I don't know how y'all see it on y'all screen, but if you hit that, where it'll stream to your channel as well. You see it up there at the top. I think it's the top right. So it'll stream on your channel as well.
yeah, so I feel like, what is it? It's called Gentry Parfums. This young man, he's in Louisiana. I had a 5 mil of I forgot the name of the fragrance, but his smells just like it for a fraction of a cost and lasts longer than the OG did. So I tell people all the time, you have to find a person who is actually doing what they need to be doing, because you got, like, what is it, Alexander fragrances, you got Juliana's, you got all these different companies, Duas, that's out there, and these people is hitting it.
Yeah, and I can definitely say that there are times when I think that clones are not a bad thing, a bad way to go, especially say like Black Phantom. So I got Dark Knight from Alexandria Fragrances because Black Phantom to me just doesn't last. Now, say it's on my skin or whatever, but some fragrances last a long time on my skin, but Killian's Black Phantom just doesn't last.
Right.
And so I bought that. That is to me a reason definitely to buy a clone. Now, in my opinion, most times clones do not smell as deep or rich as the original.
No, you're
However, I think that clones have their place. And if you can't afford an original, to get a clone that will get you in that same neighborhood and that you can enjoy that fragrance as well, I don't necessarily see a problem with that. And especially if you get, so say you got Diaghilev, and you can't afford Diaghilev, but you find Alexandria has their version of it. I really don't think the people that can afford a Roja aren't buying Alexandria. So I don't think it's taken from Alexandria, and in the end, and it may even bring it back to Alexandria. On the flip side, is somebody may get more money, but I think it only helps to get that DNA out there. Now I understand there are different perspectives on that, on if that is hijacking their fragrance and taking, but I just think that the people that are going to buy that high-end fragrance aren't going to say, I'm just not going to buy the high-end fragrance just to buy the clone.
Right.
But then there are other people that's what they can afford.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you, but there's other options out there. I'm talking about as a reviewer. When you're sitting there having a conversation with your people, okay? Because not everybody can afford to go out there and spend money for Roja stuff. You even got people who can't even spend the money, outright. Now they can save their money and then go buy what they want, okay? I was just saying that me personally, I wanted to try these because I have the OGs, but I wanted to see how close they came. And there are some that is knocking it out of the box.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was getting at.
So would you prefer clones? Okay, say if you're just starting out, right? And you're trying to build your collection up, sticking with the topic of why do you have so many fragrances, and you're trying to build your collection up, would you suggest to someone to purchase clones before the original to build their collection?
No, I would not suggest that. Only if they could not afford the original. Because like I said, you got people who they're going through right now, and if they want to start out with something, I tell them to start with designer. Work your way up. Don't jump out here going to niche.
Yeah.
Right. And see, that was my mistake. I'm not going to say it was a mistake, but I jumped straight to niche. I did. I jumped straight to niche.
Mm-hmm.
My nose wasn't ready for it, and I just went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I would say, just to answer what Raucous Retread put on there, especially that's another reason why I would say a clone would be a good choice at certain times, especially with discontinued fragrances.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a lot of like 1 million Privé.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of clone houses that do something for that. Blue Electrique, that's another one where it's been discontinued, and then there are clone houses that actually are giving you the opportunity to experience that fragrance. So
Mhm.
they do, clone houses do some good as well.
Right. They do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. You know, I mean, just think of it. Let's keep it 100. There are fragrances out here that we're spending $200, $300, $400 for that don't even last past 5 hours.
I can tell you less than that.
Yeah.
So 2019 batch of a Creed Aventus lasts less than 4 hours, and I paid $471 for it.
Oh
So
wow.
that is, to me, that was rough. And you're bought into the 2016 to 2012. You bought into when it was really popping, and then when you get around to getting it, and you think, I don't even have to blind buy. I don't even have to worry about blind buying it because this is the same, and they give you a different formulation.
Mhm.
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, 'cause that's why you hear a lot of people who talk about batch codes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
got some-
batch codes are important. And
Right.
see, that comes with time because if you just jumping into it and you just purchase and fragrance without doing your research, that's where your first mistake at.
Right.
When it
Mhm.
comes to like Aventus, BR540, even Naxos,
Mhm.
find out what that batch code is because some of these new ones, man, they don't have the potency. You know, but you a
Yeah.
new reviewer, you just thinking,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go spend this $750 for BR540. You know, yeah, I got the bottle, I got the label on it, but what about the juice that's inside?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, like Lyra. Lyra's been reformulated.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
I had the original, not paying attention. I'm just spraying away. And when I ran out, I got me another bottle, and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened here? You know,
Mm.
I had a little corner left in my other bottle, and I got one on one hand, one on the other, and I immediately knew the difference. And when I turned them bottles upside down, the batch code was different.
Wait a minute, back up for a second. Did I just hear you say you Conan the bottle?
Yes, I did.
You said,
Conan the bottle. I was hip on that. I was talking about that too.
Yeah.
Conan the bottle.
she Conan the bottle.
Oh yeah, no. And so you got to be very careful when they start reformulating, because they're not the same. I've always said, anytime a company sells out, and Estee Lauder, L'Oreal, whoever you want to call them this week, when they buy them, they water down these fragrances.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, wow, Naxos, that's bad if you bought a new Naxos. And
And
yeah,
then
I've had Naxos for a while, so my Naxos is good.
yeah, mine too. Mine,
Yeah.
I mean, sure. And that's one I will not Conan that just for the simple fact of purchasing new fragrances now, they're not going to be the same. Like you just stated, not going to be the same as the original one that I had. So that's another reason why I won't buy the new BR540 now. Because I'm like, I'll be so disappointed if it's just not the same with the price that they want for it.
Right.
Yeah, but I guess what do you do with that? Because then you're not really enjoying the fragrance as much. So how are you
Well, I like
dealing
the
with that?
extract better anyhow, so I still have that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like Naxos. So you say you're not using it as much anymore.
Oh no, I do, but I don't put it in rotation like I had it at first
Okay.
because I know me, and I don't want to see that bottle empty. So I mean, I still put it in rotation, but just not as much.
Oh my
I have
God.
a little. I have a little discipline with that one.
know what's getting ready to happen to the bottle.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
Sometimes reformulation is not as much. It's not for just a money grab or things like that. Sometimes it's different notes get ended up being on a federated list where they can't come in.
Mhm.
I know Latent Exclusive had a note that they had to discontinue, so they were forced to kind of reformulate it.
Right.
And as soon as I found out, bought a backup bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Immediately, just to make sure that, because Latent, I have nostalgia with Latent Exclusive. That was one of the first niche that I bought.
Okay.
And I really like that fragrance, so I really wanted to make sure that I continued to have that fragrance.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 2 bottles of that. What else do I have? A backup bottle. I have a backup bottle of Al Karachi Blend. So I definitely don't ever want to run out of that, because that's my favorite fragrance as of right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like I said, you got it like Tom Ford. I have his original Centaur Blush. When he sold it and they came out with a new one, I said, you know what, just for kicks and giggles, I bought the travel size. I didn't buy another full bottle, but I bought the travel size just to see, and it was different. And it's really, really sad. Same thing happened with.
So let me ask y'all a question. With having too many, with the question of why do you have so many bottles?
Mhm.
If, as a fragrance reviewer, and you know that fragrance isn't the same, how would you relay that to your subscribers?
If
I mean, would you
know
be
that
like
it's been
completely
reformulated, if I
and tell
know it's been reformulated, I would say something to the
Yeah,
subscribers.
you gotta tell them.
like say something like discouraging them not to purchase it, or
No,
telling them that it's still okay?
them the information, and then they do with it as they will.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if I know. So say I have tried the new formulation and I know it's different, then I would say something. A lot of times you have reviewers and they have older bottles and they're bringing it up, but they're not saying anything. But
Right.
usually, if a new formulation is a lot worse, you need to
Mhm.
bring it up, because that's how I got Cydrop Bourset. I didn't realize the newer formulation was not like the old formulation, and the newer formulation lasts no time. It turns into a skin scent in like an hour.
Mm.
So I bought Intense Cedroc Bourset, and I really like that one. But
Mhm.
again, if I wish somebody would have told me that the newer formulation wasn't going to be like the old bottle that you had.
Right.
So you have a 3-year-old bottle,
Mhm.
and you're talking about how it's the greatest fragrance ever, and I buy it based off of that, because Manceras aren't really that expensive.
No.
So, but I mean, I put down $90, and I
Mhm.
bought it just based off your review. And
Mhm.
then when it doesn't work out for me, and I start going to other reviewers, then I realize they tell me, "Hey, it's been reformulated. You need to watch out for it." And
Right.
then when
You have,
Intense Cedroc Bourset came out, I bought that one.
yeah, you have to be honest. You
Mm.
know, that's why I feel like everybody breaking their neck to buy these new galons that's out there. All they doing is changing a name on the bottle. You know, and selling it for a higher price. It's not a new fragrance,
Mm-hmm. So
and weaker.
right, by saying that do you believe that comes with an experienced nose?
Absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So
No,
do you feel as though new reviewers that are trying to get that channel up and running, do you feel as though they feel pressured and the competition with other reviewers, so that's why they trying to purchase an absurd amount of fragrances?
keep up. You know,
Mm.
and if your channel is not doing well, okay, because I'm not talking about your day job, okay. If your channel is not doing well and you're not making enough money to support all of what you're doing, then you have to sit back and try to figure that out, because most times people are not going to tell you anything. Okay. And I have a problem with that. If you are a seasoned fragrance reviewer, okay, and you see somebody out there just spending up money and you know damn well they don't have it to spend, that's when you should, sidebar that person and say, hey, let me say XYZ to you, but you have a lot of these fragrance reviewers that they will not do it.
Yeah.
So it's more of a human side instead of a business side when you reach out to someone.
Right.
For instance, like the lady y'all was speaking of earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all feel as though she needs to be pulled by the coattail and somebody talk to her.
Right on in her. I jumped right on in the comment section. I said what I had to say.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, especially in being on YouTube and reviewing, you really, besides the interaction that you have with your subscribers in your comment section, the center of the day, I think I get a little more with going daily and talking to different people on a daily basis. But I really don't think at certain times we know what they're going through. I mean, a Q always says, I'm not your financial advisor. You can buy none of these fragrances or all of these fragrances. We until we know what somebody's going through.
But I'm saying,
when you speak to some people outside, like say something like a continue to pray for Duck 212. You know about something outside of what he's going through, so then you have a connection, and that's what I really like about the fragrance community, that we have connection.
Yeah, Duck 212. Yeah, that's my man. I mean, we talk, off air and everything, and he keeps imposing. I keep telling him, I'm there for him. I'm praying for him. Whenever you need me, I'm there. Because we're in the same area and whatever. Me and him, we're planning on meeting up at Neiman's soon. But I know he got stuff going on with his family. That's a good guy.
Let me know, because I want to reach out. He got my comments, but if you can give him my email address, because
I will. Yeah, that's a really good dude. Duck 212. That's a really, really good dude. Yeah.
Okay, really so good. I just real quick, Robert Platinum says he's addicted to fragrances. Now I want to know, is it my definition of addicted where you may end up not paying a bill to get fragrances, or are you addicted where somebody looks at your fragrance collection? Like, I have people come and see my fragrance collection, they're like, you got a problem.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now,
I get that all the time.
Yeah, addiction can only go so far. It's all subjective. Anybody that sees my fragrance collection and they're not a fragrance collector, they're going to say I have a problem. But I don't have a problem to the fact that my car is paid every month. The leases, the mortgage is paid every month. My light bill and my gas and electric stay on all the time. My cell phone isn't off. So I don't have those kind of problems as addictions.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah. I'll leave it at that.
But that's what I'm saying though. I'm saying in general, if you have been watching someone, and you're a bigger reviewer, and you have been paying attention to this person from the beginning, this person didn't have all of that. They only had when they started. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And now all of a sudden, 90 days later, they got 2 shells behind them. That's what I mean, pull somebody's coattail.
Right.
Because you don't do all of that.
What are y'all?
Like I see people, because I'll do fragrance reviews on my channel as well. But I see people, like the new Amouage, Amouage Guidance 46 just came out. I'm giving Amouage $527.
Right.
I'm not. I'm just not.
I haven't even smelled that yet.
I don't even want to smell it yet.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about what Rafan Tate just stated? I think you guys are looking at how some reviewers are per fragrances for E. Ross left his job. I didn't know he left his job to leave his job to pursue his passion in fragrances. Therefore, he has to purchase a lot. Do y'all believe that fragrance reviewers that their means of life is YouTube,
Correct.
right? Their
Mhm.
means of life is YouTube. That they support themselves through a YouTube check.
Okay.
That they have to continue to purchase fragrances.
Oh yeah. So I would say that's his job.
I
Right.
would, if he before he left his job, that he was already receiving a YouTube check, because I'm not leaving my job if I'm not getting a YouTube check.
Oh yeah, no. Ross has over 100,000 subscribers.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's making bank.
Yeah.
And he's a good dude because he jumped on Sally Live, and I respect him about that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
he one of the big ones, but he don't feel as though he's too big not to reach back.
Ross is
Absolutely.
very laid back. You're talking about the white guy, right? Now,
Yeah, the white guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
TLTG.
TG. I think he's Spanish, but
Yeah.
Latino. But I understand.
You over there getting technical.
I'm,
I
I'm just trying to keep it politically correct. That's all.
saying, that's why I said, I don't know, but I like him because he's very laid back.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
He is. So what I will say as far as somebody, so if you look at it, if it's your job,
Mm-hmm.
then there are certain things that you have to do for your job. So
Mhm.
say my job, I have professional licenses. I have to keep those professional licenses up for
Mhm.
me to be in the position to command the amount of salary that I get.
Mhm.
And so that's part of my job, and that's something I have to do. But
Right.
and just the same way, if you get to the point where you have enough followers and subscribers that you can be full time, then yeah, that's definitely your job. When okay, Nosy saying he's not Spanish. All right, I thought his name was Carlos. That's all I was saying. So I may be wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Mm.
if you run your channel like a business,
Mhm.
then you have to do what businesses do. So a business that is in that business has to have inventory. It has to be able to do the things that it needs to function. So
You're absolutely-
definitely, I think if you're full time in the fragrance world or the fragrance community, then you have to buy fragrances because you look at, say, Gent Sense. I'm sure he doesn't buy all his fragrances, but he gets fragrances, and I'm sure Ross just does too.
Mhm.
But that's the way it goes.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, but again, if that's the only income you have coming in, you have to make it do what it do. Because he's
True.
got
True. That's true. That's true. So, do you believe for the we're gonna call them what the top echelon of reviewers
Mhm.
with their fragrances? Do you believe? Okay, let's put it like this: if you were, well, not if, when you reach that level, the both of you, when you guys reach that level,
Mhm.
would you quit your profession to do YouTube full time?
No.
Wow.
No.
Now, I mean, you getting a nice check each month. Would you quit your profession
No.
to?
I was doing while I was working before, and I worked up to that to get a check. I can continue on working and still get that check. I'm going to double down.
Nice. Now, I would say that I'm on the opposite end, and it relates to a couple things that have happened in my life that have given me an opportunity to think differently. If now I make a pretty nice salary, I'll just state it, and I would have to make a lot of money on YouTube to replace my salary. But if I replace my salary, I would look to making a clear decision of what I wanted to do. I really feel like at certain points, life is more important than working. So my mother, just real facts, my mother passed unexpectedly, very young, and in my standpoint, she was 65. To me, that was before her time. It happened really quickly. She had a brain aneurysm.
No, I'm
while
so sorry.
working out, and she was in good shape.
Yeah.
And that kind of changed my perspective because we don't know. I mean, I feel like I could live forever. That's what we all think sometimes, but we don't know what could happen. And the thing that I don't want to be written on my tombstone is that I was a hard worker. I want to make sure that I have time for my family. I want
Mhm.
to make sure I have time to, travel and see things, and also have time to do something where I can pour into somebody else's life so
Mhm.
that when I have left, I'm missed.
But let
So
me ask you a question. You're
Mhm.
not doing that now?
Yes, but I could be doing more of other things with that. So yeah, I'm doing some of that. I try to pour into my children. I mean, and to pour into their lives and be there for
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
But I also there are things that I could be doing even more as
Okay.
far as say a community help or community reach back or things like that
Mhm.
that I could do even more. And the money to me isn't the overall thing. Like I'm not doing YouTube for money. I'm doing YouTube because I like fragrances and I
Right.
like to talk. I
Right.
can
That was
talk.
my next question. I was going to ask you guys, is it, what do you believe most YouTubers, as far as in the fragrance community, are doing it to gain income solely from YouTube, or are they doing it for just the love of fragrances?
I
Which one
think
you think is
I,
greater?
I think it could go both ways.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
really do believe that. I think it can go both ways. There are some who, make good money on YouTube, you know, um, but they're not ready to give up their job. And that's what my point was. That's why I said
Mm,
I would double down. Now, I didn't say I would do it for a long period of time. I just said I would double down. Yeah.
mm.
Because if I'm making real good money on YouTube and I'm still working,
That's
now,
a win-win.
now I can stack my money. And
Yeah,
Hmm.
but here's
then,
the thing, like
and
like I
then,
like and just one question real quick, because I think they had to get to a place where they were working and they were doing it and they probably were, but then if you want to get to the next level, you probably so like Ross, he does a video a day.
Hmm.
I'm not even doing that.
right.
So
But
I
that's
I
it.
my goal is like a video a week, and I don't even make that sometimes.
Okay.
But if I'm bringing it up to the point where it's replacing my income,
That's what I
this is
said.
a full-time job.
Right. But that's what I said.
Okay.
I'm just surmising that this is what these people did. You understand what I'm saying? When they got
Mhm.
to a certain level, they was already making good money on YouTube, but they had to make sure that that money was consistent before
Absolutely.
they walked away from their jobs.
Absolutely.
That's why I said I would double down in the beginning. And then once I stacked my money and my money was coming in real good for YouTube, then I can walk away. But until then, I have to do both.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah, Boxing Sense says that Ross does 2 to 3
You know
videos
what I
a day
mean?
plus
Mm.
shorts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to make it do what it do.
Right. Right. Well, it's interesting to think because in the scheme of things, if you were trying to necessarily make money on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the fragrance part of it would be the first thing that I would think of as far as making a whole lot of money because it's such a grow to get to the level where you've replaced your income. Where
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
if say I lost my job, if I lost my job today,
Mm-hmm.
my next YouTube channel, now I would keep my fragrance channel, but my next YouTube channel would be on politics
Mm-hmm.
because everything about politics gets a million views.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
so if you were doing it just for the money, I hate politics
Mm-hmm.
because I think both sides, both parties have issues and they need to deal with. But
Absolutely.
but what I can say is if I was doing it just for the money,
Mhm.
that's the ones where they're getting 1,000 views every hour.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I mean,
right.
sometimes they even getting more. They're getting like 10,000 views in an hour.
Especially during election season.
Right. So
But
if
that's something that they started out doing.
right, well, some of them they lost their jobs. Like you look at some of the people, like when CNN fired Chris Cuomo, then he started a YouTube channel.
Right.
And then he started doing that.
You know, there was a lot of them that I watched when they started their channels. They started off in politics.
Right.
They got some knowledge of it. Right.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what I'm saying. As far as a fragrance reviewer, the knowledge. Okay, what is greater? What is greater to have 300 fragrances, or to have no fragrances but have the knowledge?
You need to have both.
You
Now, the question comes out.
Okay, but why do you need both? If somebody's asking you for, say like this, say like you have you don't have the fragrances, but you went and sampled the fragrances, you sprayed on, you know all about it and everything. So you can give a review on it because you know about the fragrance, but you don't have the fragrance. So that's what I mean. So which one is greater, to have the fragrances or have the knowledge about fragrances? Which one you think is greater?
It would be knowledge. It would be knowledge. But in the fragrance game, you know the way that it works, you can't go in there. We'll say, all right, we're gonna use this. What the hell is this? This is pop art. So you want to sit there, you know, but some people will go in there with a 2 mil and want to talk about it. To me, you cannot talk about a fragrance with a 2 mil. You're not gonna tell me you smell all of this with a 2 mil.
Some people do, though.
Yeah, they do. That's what I'm getting at. That is what I'm getting at. Some people do a review on a small decant. You know, and
it's a 5 mil.
Yeah, that's a 5 mil. Here's my point on that. I would say, you know, unless you would just basically stay in it, it's a first impression, and for most things, I don't do first impressions. But if you are just doing a first impression, then yeah, have at it with a 2 mil. However, for you really to break down a fragrance, when I really do a fragrance review, I'm doing that review after I've worn that fragrance 3 or 4 times, like for a good solid time, because I want to make sure, one, that the fragrance performance really lasts. And if you're doing certain things, you may not remember exactly the time. So you have to be very knowledgeable in that. And I think just wearing it one time doesn't do it. For 2, to get the notes and how it's going to wear on your skin, you have to have that fragrance. And if you wear it out all in one setting, and then you get on YouTube and you're not giving people the information. And I really think if you don't have both, then you really are doing a disservice to people. And so many times when I look at it, I really, if somebody has just a 2 mil and they're doing a review or something, fine. I look at it and I want to hear what their basic thoughts are, but I look at it as a first impression, and then I'm also looking at the next reviewer that has the bottle, or that at least is showing that they've worn it more than just once and they're pulling out a bottle.
You know, like also you'll have like I love, especially in the summertime, in the spring and the summer, I love Orange Blossom. That is a beautiful scent note to me. So there are times that, you know, you're reading like the scent notes when you're looking at something, and then, you know, I'll order a decant, especially now, because, you know, I'm not buying full bottles anymore until I try it. So you'll have 5 different fragrances in your collection, and they almost smell the same. And now you say to yourself, how many do I really need?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
are you speaking on behalf of person that's not a reviewer or someone that just want to purchase fragrances?
Reviewer or either or, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? You know, like when I made that comment of saying to that young lady when I was pulling out, you know, moving my fall and winter fragrances, and I was pulling out spring and summer. I had bought fragrances and forgot all about them.
Mm.
They're all the way in the back, and I'm bringing them forth. And as I brought them forth, I had 5 different fragrances from 5 different fragrance houses, and they all damn near smelled the same.
Mm. Oh wow. Wow. So do you regret purchasing those fragrances now?
No.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, my fragrances are like my babies. I don't ever forget them. I know
Well,
where each one
when
is.
you buy stuff off season, you know what I mean? And you're getting it at a cheaper price. So therefore you pushed it in the back. Now you have your favorite one in the front.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it really doesn't get seen until you pull them to the front, and then it's like, oh snap. I bought that 2 years ago. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Mm.
But especially when I'm buying, because the fragrances that I buy are on a list, and I only buy a certain amount a month under a budget.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the fragrances that I buy, except for some that come out early, like PDM, I've bought the last 2 PDMs as soon as they came out.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the other fragrances that I buy, I've been either rocking with a decant, been researching them and studying them. So it's more of, I could probably very easily name 75% of my collection because most of it I've done research on and studied it.
Right.
I
Well, this is before I stopped, you know, buying as much as I did. This is what I'm
Okay.
saying. I was buying, you know, like 8 bottles a month, but I was
Wow.
buying off season.
mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, like the way my budget works and the price that niche fragrances are right now, yeah, I couldn't. If I got to 8 a month, that would, I might be in an addictive stage at that point.
Mm. Yeah,
That
I think you're addicted. So, Charm City, those 2 PDMs that you bought, had you sampled them prior to buying them, or were they blind buys?
Which ones?
The last 2 you say you bought.
Oh, the last 2 I said I bought. Yeah, it was Altair and Perseus, so they were blind buys.
Okay.
I bought them the day they released. I mean, so I'm part of that PDM subscriber list, and as soon as they had online lives or whatever they would call their little presentation to talk about when it came out, and I ordered it straight from there. And it
Okay.
actually, I guess where they ship it from is kind of close to Maryland, because I ordered it during their event, and I think I ordered it between like 3 and 4 o'clock. 2 o'clock the next day, it was on my doorstep.
So, do you regret buying Perseus?
Not exactly say I regret it. I think that buying Perseus helped a lot of other people. At least they got my honest opinion on what I
Mine too.
thought about Perseus.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily regret it. If I was in a position where that was the only thing I could buy that month, then I probably would have regretted it. But I like reviewing. I like helping other people. I do like the fact that we have people that are in our kind of camp of being subscribers to the channel. I know that they're probably subscribers to a lot of other channels too. But just the fact that they say, I believe you give the true honest opinion on something, and I was ready to buy it, and I didn't. Hey, Perseus is just. I don't think it's not a bad. It's not a bad fragrance. What I can say about Perseus is the opening is pretty potent to me. I really like the
Very
dry down
potent.
better with the mandarin orange and the vetiver, and how it gets more woody in the dry down.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of that opening grapefruit note.
You know?
Some
Yeah,
people may love it.
yeah,
So
some people love it. I mean,
yeah,
it was given to me to do a review on. I wasn't paid for it. I told them, no, don't pay me because I had sampled it previously. And I knew I wasn't, I'm not a fan of it. So that opening, and it
yeah.
takes so long to get to the dry down. The opening just sticks with you for like 3 months before
Yeah,
the
I'm telling
dry
you,
down
one thing I
come,
can
man.
say for a fresh fragrance, it lasts.
It does. It really does. And my belief with that is, and I said this when I did the review on it, I believe they're trying to reach the younger crowd now with that super freshness. And as far as how it's going, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if younger people, the only way you see, the thing is, you have, it's like a two-edged sword. You want to reach the younger people with a super fresh scent, but you have to bring the price down to where they can afford it.
Right.
Young people can't afford that price. They could probably get decants off a scent split or something like that, but to get a bottle, you have to bring the price down. If you're trying to reach them, you have to reach them in both areas, in the scent and the price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was something somebody said there was an interesting question. What was it?
Who was it?
I hold on, I'm gonna scroll up. Let's see. Oh, Robert Platinum asks, have you ever had a fragrance that you didn't like but got mad compliments?
That's a good question. Well, me, I'm not purchasing no fragrances that I don't like, so I can't answer that one. Every fragrance that I have, I truly enjoy. I've never purchased a fragrance that I didn't like. I might have blind bought maybe out of all that I have, maybe 5. And yeah, I mean, I did research on them, because my first blind buy was Plum Japanese. That was my first blind buy ever because it was discontinued. I couldn't, get it nowhere. And I wasn't in scent splint by being discontinued. They was charging almost for 5 mil, almost for the price of a regular bottle. So I just went ahead and bought the bottle. Like, shoot.
Yeah. I don't necessarily have, I guess, Rosendo Mateo number 5, I don't rock with as much because the opening is so harsh. And that's one because I'm the blind buy bandit. But to me, it seems like they took a Dodge Challenger Hellcat and just spun the wheels over and over again for like an hour, and then they scooped it up and they put that in the top note.
Yeah, I can get that.
But now after that goes away, but you have to be able to get through that. It is a floral fragrance that gets mad compliments. So that would probably be one that I can say gets compliments, but I have to get over that initial opening to me, which is really off-putting.
Yeah, see, the burnt rubber.
Huh?
I said I don't get the burnt rubber from number 5.
You don't?
No.
I do now. I did watch somebody who said the exact same thing, but she said that she didn't have a problem with it. I saw another reviewer, and she gave the same kind of analogy that I gave, which I found really interesting. But she said she didn't have a problem with it. She got over it, and then it's nicer from there. And I will say the dry down is nicer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I can't even explain it. But yeah, the opening just gets to me.
Yeah,
Perseus, I have to wear that more, and I need to. I keep saying I need to make it a scent of the day and wear it in the summertime because I got it right before it started getting warm, and I haven't worn it yet. But I said I have it. I need to wear it, so I'm gonna make it a sin of the day and see what kind of compliments I get on
Yeah.
that.
Oh man, that's just like a grapefruit basket to me. I mean,
Yeah,
the dry down is awesome, the dry down, but it just took too long to get there.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
man, I mean, they didn't try to sweeten it up or anything. Like, oh my goodness.
Well, maybe because it was a new fragrance, maybe if it sat for a little bit and you go back to it, maybe it might be a little different for you.
Yeah,
It
and
may.
that happens. And that
It's sat for
happens.
3 months, so maybe I need to check it out again. It just sat.
Well, no, because my sister said the same thing that you said. She said, "Oh my God, I smell burnt rubber." You know what I mean? I said, everybody that I've heard talk about this fragrance, that was one of the first things that they said that they smelled, but I never got it.
Really, really. See, that's interesting because I actually put it on a tag video that we had, and I didn't look at anybody else's. I actually likes the burnt rubber smell. I actually blind bought that from Demand. So Demand had it in one of his videos, and every once in a while I'll get on like Fragrance Buy or something like that, and I'll look at new arrivals, and if I see something that I've seen a reviewer that I watch come up and it's on sale, I might just throw it in the cart. And I did with that one.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll have to check it out again. I'll check out. It's more, to me, it's more of a fall fragrance. So I will look maybe in September, October to reapply it and hope that I won't have to scrub it.
Yeah.
This number 5.
But yeah, that's the one I paid. I think I paid like $210 for it, and you were like, "Oh no, fam." I think it was like between $210 and $250, and I said I could get rid of it. You're like, "No, not at that price. You got to make that work."
Yeah, you do, man. I mean, I love number 5. I do. I mean, I don't get the burnt rubber smell like you do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get the burnt rubber smell.
Yeah, I don't know where you paid $225 for it, but I only paid $105 for mine. Brand spanking new
You
cellophane.
only paid $105. I need to shop where you shop.
I know. Same thing with Trey Jean. Everybody spending all that money. I spent $125.
How much did I spend? I just got Trey Jean not too long ago. I think it was like $140. But $125 still beats. I could have threw in a clone.
Yeah, well, that'd be. I think mine was like $160, something like that, all said and done.
Yeah.
Yep,
I do like Trey Jean. Trey Jean to me is a little more masculine. Baccarat Rouge 540, because I like the Extrait better than EDP, because the EDP is just too cotton candy sweet for me. I feel like I got diabetes every time I put it on.
I like the Extrait and I like the EDP. Now for me, Trey Jean comes across as a more fresher take on.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that as much of a cotton candy. Like I'm gonna be type 2 diabetes if I wear it for more than 3 hours.
So let me ask y'all something. What would you tell, or what would be your advice to a reviewer who is just starting their channel up? What would be your advice to them? By you having so many fragrances, what would be your advice to them?
If you want content and you want to grow your channel, what I would do as a new reviewer is to be very strategic about the things that you buy. And I would do a lot of research. So one thing I can say is, off the rip, if you want to get a lot of views and subscribers, if you review a PDM fragrance when it first comes out, you're going to get a lot of views. Those are some of my biggest views. That and Angel Share. I get a lot of views for Angel Share clone videos and things like that. So if you do research and figure out what you can start out with, because you really don't need to have a huge collection in the beginning unless you're trying to do top 10 rose fragrances or top 10 vetiver fragrances,
Bless you.
God bless you, or things like that, then you don't have to have a huge fragrance collection.
True.
All you have to do is the fragrance that you're showing right there,
Mhm.
that's the fragrance that you have to be an expert in and talk about.
Mhm.
So my thing for a new reviewer would be do your research, be strategic about the fragrances that you buy so that you can have the ability to slowly ramp up. And if you're buying, say, 1 or 2 fragrances a month, make them strategic purchases that you can do a good review on and get subscribers based off of that as you grow.
Mhm. I agree with that. Because you don't want to starting out, you know, and this would have to be a conversation you have to have with yourself before you start your actual YouTube channel. You know, you have to have fragrances, you know, and like you said, doing top 5, top 10, top 20, you know, there's no reason to do all of that when you're first starting out. And I have one that when a new fragrance comes out that I see people talking about, I don't break my neck to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, all y'all who's running to go get it, you just jack the price up for me. So therefore, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna wait.
I can say that their prices do go up, especially on discounters if they start selling. It's just simple economics. If the demand is higher, then the price is going to be higher. Yeah.
So would that hurt or help a new fragrance reviewer?
Well, if you're, I believe as a new fragrance reviewer, if you don't have a big fragrance collection, you're going to have to get some new fragrances, and you're gonna pay those at retail, but you have to be strategic about the ones that you get because you can't keep doing the same top 10 over and over again. You say my top 10 complimented, and then you got 10, and then you say my top 10 panty droppers, and you got the same 10. Then you say my top 10 fall fragrances, and it's the same top 10. You have to be strategic about what you're doing. I remember, and then you can take some things that were happening. I remember one fragrance reviewer who got a lot of people. He started with doing Nautica Voyage because everybody, it just seems like that's one that everybody was in the YouTube algorithm searching for. And so he did a full review on Nautica Voyage, and I think he got and it was years ago, but I think he got 1,000 subscribers just from doing Nautica Voyage. He got 20,000 views and got 1,000 subscribers, and he had one fragrance.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So you're just gonna have. It's just like, you know, because they say that you should research what is the audience looking for. That's the topic that you should have. So during that time, he did the right thing, you know, by talking about the Nautica fragrance.
Right. And I see what Nosey's saying. Nosey's saying the cat's out of the bag about the ability to make money reviewing fragrances. I mean, I truly believe the money that you make is more, like Claire Smith said, it's more on the side of with the companies and with the sponsorships and stuff like that. You've got to get a lot of views to make big money just on the YouTube side. Guys are doing collabs with fragrance companies. You look at the Zaharoffs and the Argos and what they're coming on their channels, and then they're giving discount codes. Don't think that discount code just gets you a discount. That discount code also locks in with the fragrance manufacturer where that came from, and then they get money based off of that. So whenever you see a discount code, know that you are supporting that reviewer, because once you use that code, then that reviewer is the person who got it.
You're right.
Doug too. What's going on, Doug?
Hey, salute.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And that's where they make the money. I think some of the people on say like S Boy, they made twice as much money. And if they sold, say they sold 1,000 and they got $20 every time, that's $20,000.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this: by you bringing up S Boy, when you brought that up yesterday, when you you know, we kind of clowned you a little bit, but do you feel S Boy, the fragrance S Boy, a reviewer that gave a review on S Boy, that reviewer is trustworthy, that he was being genuine and authentic, or was he giving the review based on the fragrance being given to him and him being paid to give a review on it?
Hmm.
I don't necessarily want to say the motives of any reviewer because I don't know the actual facts of what exactly happened. All
If
that
you
I
had to speculate.
Yeah, all that I can say about the fragrance that I received, the S Boy that I received, is that it is, in my humble opinion, mid designer quality and probably worth to me about $80. I ended up paying over $200 for it. No, I think I paid 190. I paid 190 for it. Even at that discount off of 250, I think I got um, a Memorial Day discount and I also got a fragrance influencer code. And I paid 190. It was regular 250.
Mhm.
But to me, it's not worth even with the discount of 190. To me, I think if you want something and you're looking for a quality of 190, I would be looking for Jerjoff Commandante. I would be looking, if I was looking for $110 on discounters, or 120 to $140, and I was looking for a designer, I'd be looking for John Paul Gaultier, one of the flankers as far as that goes. Those would be the ones that I would think, one, I think they perform better, and two, I think that it would be a better value for that money because Jerjoffs, are going to perform, and JPG, are going to perform. That one is a skin scent in 2 hours.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying my opinion of it, and I did a video and I explained my opinion of it. I just don't think it's worth the money. And when you're telling somebody, especially when for the most part at those times you couldn't get a sample of it, and
Mhm.
you're telling people to blind buy that
Mhm.
and you're making money off of it, that just wouldn't be me. That just wouldn't
Mm.
be me.
Yeah, because he only has the two fragrances. He has one for a man and one for the woman, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and luckily I only bought the one for the man. I didn't.
Mhm.
Cause
Yeah.
this what deterred me from getting it. I'm like, if it's so popular and it got all this praise and everything, why it's not in one department store? I didn't see it in that one department store. I'm not understanding. I mean, you'll get more sales that way, and the people can get it quicker. Some people want, if they want it, they want to get it right then and there. They don't want to
Right.
wait to get it offline. Why?
Well, there's a lot of problems with that. One, you got to have distribution. There's so many things to get it into department stores, and department store is they're gonna want to cut. So it
Mhm.
and that's what you have to look at. So when an apartment store, if they sell it for $400, they're probably only giving you like 150 or something like that. They may be giving you $200. They're putting a big markup on that. And so that's the whole reason why discounters can get it for the price that they get it for, because they're not putting that same markup. So they're paying wholesale for it, and then they don't have the type of expenses. So I'm not saying that it's not justified, but you look at a Neiman Marcus. Neiman
Mhm.
Marcus is paying rent. They've got all these employees.
But
They've
they
got
got.
all these expenses because
Mhm.
every item, and the way the accounting works for that, every item goes goes into all the expenses that go. So a part of that employee's salary goes into that one item, and they have, from accounting standpoint, knowing exactly how much of this employee's salary or all of our employee salaries go into just the sale of that one item. And so that's why it's so expensive. Where if you just sold it right off the market, they're keeping more of the profits. So they're selling it cheaper than what it probably would be in retail, because probably in retail they would take less because those companies are cutthroat. They're no joke. They tell you this is how much we're going to pay you for it, even though we're going to sell it at retail for this. And if you want it to be in our store, you got to rock with us. And so because it then gives you such a broader market, then you have to look at it and say, okay, I'm making less of a profit percentage, but because I'm selling so much more, then that works out for me. Because you think about if you make $50 off of 100, or if you make $10 off of 10,000, you made more money.
And also with department stores, you're getting publicity. Also, you're getting your fragrance out there as far as samples. Because department store, they're gonna give you samples as far as like letting you spray it on, you wear it around or whatever. When you're doing it offline, everything is a waiting game.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have the name, like for instance, like you said, Neiman's. You got the name Neiman's behind that fragrance.
And because
Absolutely.
people trust
So,
me.
I just 1 second. Duck 212, I agree. I do not say that it is a bad smelling fragrance. It is not a bad smelling fragrance. I don't think it's $250 niche quality fragrance, but it is an appealing fragrance. I just don't think it lasts as a long time, and it doesn't project that well. But I guess you have to overspray. I sprayed. So I'll give you a quick story, and I'm sorry, and then we go to the rest. It was Father's Day, so I bought it May 31st, and my boys took me out for Father's Day, and I was gonna, hey, I'm wearing this new fragrance, S-Boy, sprayed it on, and it felt kind of light, so I sprayed it like 19 times.
Wow.
Yeah, I Conan'd it.
You Conan it.
And Nate had on Born in Roma Core Fantasy. Now, of course, Nate probably sprayed his about 24, 25 times. But I was sitting at the table at the restaurant and I couldn't smell S-Boy at all. All I smelled was Core Fantasy. I didn't even have Core Fantasy Born in Rome at the time. I went out the next day to Macy's and bought Core Fantasy. I was and for it to be that bad as far as longevity and projection, I just couldn't believe it. But yeah, Nate said I stole his fragrance, and that became our best designer fragrance of last year that we bought. But I bought it the next day. I was so hot, and I thought maybe it's gonna macerate for a while. So I didn't do my review of S-Boy until like 3 months later, and it still wasn't any good as far as projection and longevity.
Wow. But I mean, I ain't gonna say all, but some of the big reviewers just blew that fragrance up, man. Like it was the next coming of the Messiah, man. It was just crazy how all you heard was S-Boy, 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 S-Boy. So
It was.
I'm like, well, let me go to the department store. I went to Neiman's, nope. Saks, nope. Bloomingdale's, nope. Even went to Macy's, nope. Not in none of the department stores. So if this is the next best thing, why isn't it in any department stores? I mean, I had nothing against the fragrance because I never smelled it, so I couldn't judge it. You know, I'm not going to judge a fragrance that I haven't smelled. I can't say if it was good or bad. I'm just not understanding as far as the distribution. Why is it online only? You know, I mean, what if I just want to sample it first? And I don't want to blind buy it. I want to sample it. I don't want to go by a reviewer that's saying, yeah, this is the best thing. No, well, let me get a sample of it. I don't even know, were they giving out samples of it?
No, they weren't giving out samples of it.
There were some reviewers who had it, and I believe that the way that they were marketing it was to do it on like Instagram, you know, different things like that, so they can cut out the other person and then just make the money for themselves.
Yeah.
That is true. For $250, the bottle could have been better. The bottle itself wasn't bad. The cap was really cheap and plastic, but I mean, the juice just to me wasn't worth $250. It smelled nice, but you got clones that smell nice, and I mean, like 9 p.m. 9 p.m. to me will give you the same type of neighborhood vibe as S-Boy. It just doesn't have like the coconut in it, but it's got that kind of sweet JPG kind of feel, or like Invictus kind of feel. Those, but they are so much cheaper than S-Boy. The atomizer isn't good either. You're right, Duck 212. The atomizer isn't good on it either.
Wow. So for $250, the bottle wasn't all that. The atomizer sucks. And
No. In fact, hold on. I got it.
And the fragrance don't hold a candle. That's
Hey,
bad.
hey, Duck, if you can jump on, Duck, if you can.
Here it goes. And probably that is the 25 sprays that I sprayed. That's what's missing at the top. I don't even wear it.
You didn't spray too much.
Huh? Yeah.
She said
I don't even wear it.
Hey,
I don't even wear it.
I had to lean in. I was like,
Yeah. I don't even wear it.
Oh, man.
I sprayed it like 25 times. I think the first time I sprayed it like 10. No, yeah, the first time I sprayed it like 10, and then I sprayed it like 15 or 20 times when I went for Father's Day, and I haven't worn it since.
So on that bottle, a lot don't come out of the atomizer then, huh?
No, it doesn't. It's not a great. Hold on, let me see if I show you. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I sprayed it, but let's test it. Yeah,
Dang, did anything come out?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it looks like I didn't give it a chance. Yeah, I think what messed me up is that it was Father's Day and my son beat me out. Now it has macerated for a long time, over a year now. So maybe it'll last better. We'll see how long it lasts on this. The next live I do, I'll tell you how long it lasted on the
and that's
on
why
test strip.
When's the last time you sprayed it? Because sometimes fragrances are made fresh. So when they go out to the masses, you know what I mean? It may not be as potent, and if it sits for a while, then it had time to macerate. That's why I asked you that.
I sprayed it a couple more times before I did the video.
Okay.
But I haven't sprayed it a whole lot. It really disappointed me, and it was one of the ones that this was actually probably the fragrance that got me into the game.
Okay.
Because I believed somebody's hype on this and I bought it. And at the time, I was thinking there might be somebody who all they had was $250 to buy a fragrance.
Right.
And if they believed the hype and bought it, they're just stuck. And to me, I wrote it off, but that was the fragrance that made me start saying, I want to give my viewpoint on things, and I want people to have an honest opinion on something, because I didn't think that was right. I will give it more of a chance. And I'll spray it again. I'll make it the scent of the day for. Nah, I won't put it up as a scent of the day.
Oh, I'm about to say what?
So tomorrow, while you're sitting at home, if you don't have anywhere to go, spray yourself down and see how it lasts.
Yeah. I have Zenji on right now. Otherwise, I would spray it right online. But Zenji is really nice. That is a nice fragrance. That was my scent of the day. It lasts. Unique Luxury. It has a sangria type, earthy sangria vibe to me. I really like that one.
Yeah. I like luxury fragrances. So how many of y'all or do y'all have mind game fragrances? Now I still have not found one that I want to spend my money on.
I haven't bought any mind game fragrances but there are some that I like. But there's one that's kind of Aventus like that I think is pretty nice, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it. The Double Attack, the chocolate one, I kind of like as well. But I have some chocolate fragrances, and I think I'm going to end up buying the Downtown Deja. No, it's not Downtown Deja Vu. What was the chocolate? I think it was Midnight Whisper or something like that.
Okay.
So
I don't know.
there's another one. They're kind of expensive and you don't find them on discounters that much. I think they're $375 in Neiman's.
Yeah.
And
Like
then I think you can get I think Dedrick has a 10% discount on it, so you can get $37 off. But for 300 plus, I just have other things that are ahead of my priority. I'm telling you, I have a list of probably like 100 fragrances, and they're on the list, but they're way down on the list. So there's other things that I want to, even though I think they're blended very well. I think they're nice fragrances.
I got
a discovery set.
Yeah, I have 4 of them, and my favorite one is Gambit. That's my
Like-
best one.
I haven't even smelled Gambit yet.
Yeah, because in my discovery set is what is it? Rue Lopez, Gambit, Sissa, French Defense. That's the one I'm leaning for.
French Defense is nice. French
Yeah.
Defense.
Yeah.
Enterprise, the Forward, Cleaning, Vera, and Lenora. Now between Lenora and French Defense, but I said.
Teresa.
Yes.
All right. Charm, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Everything went out for a minute.
Oh, yeah. So I was saying that, I want to try them out because, I'm seeing people just spending the money buying these, and then after they get it, they like, now you see it in the fragrance groups on Facebook. They get rid of it.
Yeah, I think everybody get caught up on the presentation.
Their bottles are beautiful.
They are.
And they have travel sets that are really nice. They tried to sell me on the travel set, and you either get one of the 5 or the other of the 5. But the travel set, I think, is like $200, and you get it in a leather case and
the presentation
like 5 mils or something like that.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. So we had this was a really good conversation as far as the amount of fragrances, fragrance reviewers, new fragrance reviewers.
Absolutely.
This was really informative, especially for people that are just starting out, because me personally, you are right. You should have a nice collection before you start a channel, but don't go through extreme measures to get that channel up and running.
Definitely.
Because it takes a long time before you even see something beneficial from YouTube before you can even get started. It takes a minute, because I believe, when you look at reviews and they say their first check this, their first check from YouTube, man, no more than like $100 or something. You're not coming right into the money. It's not happening, and then you done invested all of this money into your fragrances to start a channel, and you thinking, that like the old saying go, the fame comes before the fortune. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, but I'm not gonna hold you guys along. What we did is almost like 2 hours and 30 minutes now. This was really good. So Teresa, you are part of the crew now officially.
Yeah.
So
welcome.
every time we do this, we're gonna put you on board, because it's always good to have a woman's perspective for it. And one thing about Teresa, she is not shy. She will speak her mind, boy. I'm telling you. She will speak her mind. And I admire her for that.
I say it all the time. You're gonna learn today.
You're gonna learn today. So y'all give both of y'all get some final remarks.
All right. Well, my name is Theresa. I do have my own channel. I do subscription boxes and different things like that, but I also do fragrances, and I am a candle lover. I love scented candles. So, y'all want to check me out? Check me out. And I had a time sitting here with you too. Well, it would have been the third one too, but he gone.
Yeah, the man. Yeah, he ran abruptly. I guess his girl was knocking on the door. The toilet overflowed or something went on with him, man. Yeah, he had to run. And the man, he's usually, here for the whole duration. So whatever he had to go for, it must have been something very important. We hope everything is okay with you.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
said,
I'll check in with him. I'll check in with him.
Yeah. And Nosy must still be on the bus
Doing his neighborhood watch.
doing his neighborhood watch. Yeah. Go ahead, Chom.
he's keeping his neighborhood safe, y'all.
There you go.
There you go. Go ahead, Chom. Get your closing remarks.
Hey, all I have to say is I appreciate you inviting me on the channel. And I know as it goes, can't stop, won't stop. Not going to happen, fam.
I'm telling you.
So we just appreciate it. Keep it moving.
Yes.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah. Until the next one, family, we're going to do this again. This is a good vibe. This is a really, really good vibe. Really, really good vibe. Yeah, Duck too gonna check you out, Teresa. Duck, he's a really good guy. Really, really good guy. You can't say that about too many people, but
yeah,
everybody in the fragrance, well, I ain't gonna say everybody, but most people in the fragrance world know about him, and he's a good guy. He is. He even be sending Tazo samples. He sent Tazo a lot of samples. So he's a really good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, to have people so they don't go out buying, because where I live, I have to, because I'm in Connecticut, so I'm on the border of Rhode Island. So I go either towards New Haven, New York, 2.5 hours or 45 minutes, or go the opposite direction and go to Boston.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I don't have to ride.
That's the dedication to being a reviewer.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, fam. I wish y'all all safe, peace, and blessings. And we are definitely going to do this again.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. It was a good time. Good time.
Teresa, do you have StreamYard?
No. But
okay.
I had to, in order for me, because I'm on my phone, because normally the last time I was on somebody's channel, they had StreamYard, and I was on my laptop, but I left my laptop downstairs.
Okay. Yeah, if you get StreamYard, we could run it from your channel. Everybody just hit the share screen, and then that way. I'm about sharing everything. I am not a selfish person. Like I told when I did that review on EQ's video, if I ever reach that point, I'm constantly gonna reach back and bring the next person up because everybody has a different viewpoint.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because we're all different individuals.
Exactly. So we got to keep you on here, Teresa. We got to, because we need a woman's perspective. We really do. And you have a good one. You really have a good perspective of it. All and right. Charm, you got the intellectual side of it. Me, I'm just crazy with it. So it's 3 different personalities that blend it perfectly.
Yeah. See, I didn't want to say it. See, like he's more politically correct.
Yeah, he is.
It's been built in me. It's been built in me.
But it's all good though.
It is.
That's what makes things Mitch, because everything's different. Everybody comes to the table with something different. And
exactly. Exactly. So next time, hopefully we can get Nosy on, get the man on, get Taz on, get Nate on, get Sally on, and have a nice little powwow with everybody. That's gonna be the mega review right there.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right, fam.
So I'm ready for it,
Hey, you're gonna be notified.
All right.
All right, Teresa. All right, Charm City.
All right, sis. Take care.
Deuces.
Bye-bye.
All right.